Chapter 47. Is it okay to pray only when you want something? Dear God, is it okay? Do you mind if... I'm lying on my bed staring at the ceiling with my hands on my chest. I've been thinking of a prayer for Grandad, but every time I go to start, I hear Mum's voice downstairs as she talks to Dad on the phone. Part of me wants to listen, the other part of me wants to wrap a pillow around my head and block it all out. Dear God. Is he awake? I know I haven't prayed since Grandma was ill. Is he talking? And I know that didn't work. Does he know you're there? But I'm sure you're tired. I'm sure he'll be okay. And 1 minute. For a moment, Mum's voice gets louder as she walks into the hallway. Yes, I know. I'll move into the sitting room. Click. Mum closes the sitting room door. The news must be bad because this is what it was like in the days before Grandma died. Dad calling Mum, Mum calling Dad, Dad coming home, whispering in the kitchen, whispering in the dining room, whispering in the bedroom. I didn't want to listen, but you don't have to hear everything to know when someone is really ill. I didn't want Grandad to go to hospital on his own, but Mr. Keats said I was too young to be left alone at the hospital. It was so quiet in the minibus on the way back that all I could hear was the rush of the wind and the rumble of tyres on the road. Rebecca said she was sure Grandad would be okay, and Jake said the same, but there was no way they could know. They were just hoping like me. I roll over onto my side. See the pieces of paper with Grandad's writing scrawled across them. The chessboard, drawings of the chess pieces with the moves written beside them. Pawn can only move forward, 2 squares, first move, then only 1. Bishop can only move on the diagonal. Rook can only move horizontally and vertically. I close my eyes. Normally I would keep seeing the squares, but now all I can see is Grandad, wrapped up in a blanket in the back of an ambulance. Felix! Mum knocks on my door. Can I come in? I wipe my eyes on my pyjama sleeve and roll over to face the door. Mum pushes the door open slowly. I just thought I'd give you some news on Grandad, she says softly. Is it his heart, like Grandma? I ask. We're not sure, she says as she walks in and sits at the end of my bed. He's sleeping now, but Dad says not to worry and he'll call again in the morning. I knew he shouldn't have driven to watch me play. My voice begins to crack. He did feel dizzy earlier in the week. I should have said something. Hey, Mum gives me a caring smile. You are not to blame. You know what your Grandad is like. He's so stubborn. Even if we'd said not to, he'd have gone. And besides, it's you who cheered him up these past few weeks. I force a smile. I'd rather he'd been grumpy and be sitting at home, not happier and in hospital. I wish he'd never even started playing, I say. Come here, says Mum, holding out her arms. I lean forward and she wraps her arms around me. He'll be fine, she whispers. You wait and see. He'll soon be picking you up from school again in that pink car. You won't be able to wait to get into it. I don't think I go that far, I sniff. Mum laughs. Well, that sounds like my Felix is back, she says. I smile weakly and she hugs me again. I wish my Grandad was back too. Mum pats my back, then strokes my head like she used to when I was younger. He'll be fine, she says softly. He's a tough old bird. I hope so, I say, even though I'm not sure Grandad is as tough as she thinks. He will be, she says, letting go of me. Tell you what, I'm just going over to feed Samson. Did you want to come? I'm in my pyjamas. That doesn't matter, Mum smiles. I just thought it would be good for you to be doing something. No, it's okay, I say. I'll stay here. Mum walks to the door, then stops. Just try to get some sleep, she says, and we'll see how he is in the morning. Okay. Mum's footsteps fade away as she walks down the stairs. I lie back in my bed. She was trying to help, but going to Grandad's house when he's not there would be horrible. It would just be an empty shell. with Samson walking around looking for him like he did for Grandma for a few days after she died. And sometimes it was scary too, because Samson would suddenly stare into the hall like he'd seen a ghost. I bet Samson is missing Grandad too, and it's not just for the food. I close my eyes and for a moment I hear Grandad's voice again in my head. A1, B1, F1, G1. This is a file. This is a rank. C1. I sigh. D1, E1. This is the bishop. It moves on the diagonal. This is a rook. It moves in straight lines. I hear Grandad so clearly, it's like we're in the garden with the sun shining on us as we cut the grass. I fold my hands on my chest. Dear God, is it okay to pray only when I want something? I know it didn't work for Grandma, but do you mind if I try again?